Hello everyone, I'm the reporter Guiliang. I'm a postgraduate from Beijing University. The paper I will be presenting today is titled Beijing Service Trade Export Growth Potential Research. My co-author is Shi Yujie and my tutor Wang Beibei. Marginal contribution of this article is from the service trade export structure and competitiveness of the viewpoint of the dynamic change. How to expand export competitiveness by using dynamic shift share model for Beijing's competitiveness of the service trade export structure and the dynamic innovation process were analyzed. And the innovation of the Beijing service export growth potential for Beijing to further expand trade in service open up provide constructive suggestions. This report is divided into 5 parts as shown in the table. The first part is the introduction and editorial review. On October 13, 2021, the Ministry of the Commerce issued a different service trade development plan, pointing out, continue to promote deep reform of service trade, high-level open, comprehensive innovation promote service trade growth, structure optimization, efficiency, promote a higher level of open economy new system and modern economic system construction play an important role. So, it is of practical significance for China's sustainable economy to explore the new drivers of the trade growth. How to enhance the export capacity of the service trade? Scholars may focus on regional free trade agreements, digitalization, and intellectual property protection. It can be inferred from this that there are few studies to discuss how to further expand the expanding up of the Beijing service trade export potential from the perspective of the dynamic changes in the structure and the competitiveness of the service trade exports, which is the innovation point of this paper. The second part is the current situation of Beijing's trade in service, as can be seen from Table 1. In recent years, Beijing's service trade has developed rapidly and expanded gradually. From the perspective of the development of Beijing's service trade, the total import and the export volume of Beijing's service trade has been growing in recent years, showing that overall upward trend. Among them, exports are most consistent with the total change trend. The overall trend rise growth rate of 28.71% in 2018 developed fast. Import increase year by year. The scale expands in increasingly breakthrough the 100 billion in 2018. But growth has dropped in recent years from the 2014 to 2016 year of the double-digit growth fell to 4.65%. It can be seen from the Table 2 and the Table 3 that the proportion of the traditional service trade in Beijing in import and export structure is large, while the proportion of the technology-intensive modern service trade and related industries is relatively small. The third part is the research methodology and the data source. According to the dynamic derivation share model, the export value of the different service export sector in the study area can be decomposed into 3 components, NS, SS, and CS, which represents national share, export structure share, and export competition share, and shown in the following formula. The research data are all derived from the China Statistical Yearbook, the Beijing Statistical Yearbook, and the China Territory Industry Statistic Book. The fourth part is analysis of the model results, and the Table 4 reflects the model calculation result of the overall service trade export of Beijing. 2012 to the 2018 dynamic results show the export structure share is size negative in the 2014 and the 2016. The rest of the year are all positive, and increase the rate of bicycle remain at around 2%. In 2015, Beijing became the first comprehensive pilot of the expanding and opening up the service industry in China, which involves optimization of the internal structure of the service export sector, resulting in short-term positive impact. In the following years, the share of export structure gradually tended to rise steadily. The derivation of the Beijing service export structure is conducive to the growth of Beijing service export. The share of the export competition is negative on all years except for the 2015 and the 2016, which is positive, and the increased rate inflections around the 7%. In 2015, the pilot project of the expanding of the opening up of the service industry attracted a certain number of captive service export enterprises to settle in, which improved the competitiveness of the Beijing service export sector in short term. Beijing's named overall competitiveness in service export is those conduct to the growth of service exports. The output of the derivation share result of all service export departments in Beijing is Table 5 and Table 6. Dynamic results show that the traditional service in the export sector, transportation service in the 2012 to the 2014 and 2017, export structure share and export competition share are negative. Export growth on the service trade in Beijing product certain negative impact. In 2015 and 2018, the export structure share and export competition share all positive, which in the 2015, the export structure and export competitive advantage is that the main reason for the overall service trade export growth. In 2016, there are lack of export structural advantage and export competitive advantage. Tourism in the 2012 and the 2016 export structure share and export competition share all negative is the main reason for the decline in the overall service trade exports. In the 2013 and the 2014, the lack of export structural advantage and the export competitive advantage was conducive to the growth of the service trade exports through the years. The export competitive advantage in 2015 and 2018 was the main reason for the overall service trade export growth in the 2015 and 2018. Among the modern service export sectors, computer and information service are the most representative of the modern service export sectors. In the 2012, the share of export structure and the share of export competition showed negative growth. From the 2013 to 2015 and the 2018, there was advantages in export structure and disadvantages in export competition. In the 2016, the disadvantage of export competition in previous years changes to the disadvantage of export structure, and the share of export competition turned negative to positive. The disadvantage in this year gradually hindered the overall export of service trade, and the overall export of service trade decreased. In 2017, the structural disadvantage of the export appeared again, which together with the competitive advantage of export promotes the growth of the overall service trade export in that year. The final part in this main conclusion and the policy recommendations, which can be divided into 2 points. Firstly, into 3 points. Firstly, compared with the service export structure and the national standard level, Beijing service export structure has more service export sector with a higher growth rate. Secondly, the competitiveness of Beijing service export shows a decline trend, which has a stronger and stronger drop in Beijing service export. Thirdly, since the implementation of the pilot project of expanding the opening up of service industry in Beijing, the competitive advantage of the financial and the insurance service has gradually emerged, but the promotion effect on other modern service export sector is small, and the export competitiveness of the traditional service export sector has even declined. The conclusion of the study can be summarized as, according to the study, Beijing should promote the digital transformation and upgrading of the traditional service export sector, steadily promote the development of financial service trade, and enhance its professional export capacity. Thank you for listening. This concludes my report. Welcome to discuss and suggest.